This is CBS News Chicago.
Good Wednesday morning. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Marissa Perlman in for Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Jackie Kostek in for Audrina this morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us. A fire investigation in Chicago's Grand Crossing neighborhood after a man died. Firefighters tried to save him, and now investigators are looking into what caused his death.
And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson in Springfield today to meet with Governor J.B. Pritzker and lawmakers there. The top item on the agenda, Chicago's budget.
But let's begin with your first alert forecast. Mostly dry today, but we are expecting some big time rain this week. Meteorologist Laura Bannon is tracking your first alert weather in the First Alert Weather Center. Laura, good morning.
Hey.
Rain tomorrow, right?
Yeah, late day into the overnight hours throughout tomorrow. We've got a weather alert for Thursday because the rain will be heavy at times. While we wait on that, we've got a nice looking afternoon, a cooler day, low 60s with some mixed skies in terms of the sun and the clouds that we'll have out there. But after midnight is when we do turn our attention for some heavy rain, some thunderstorms, potentially mostly going to see that in the afternoon with waves of rain, one in the morning and again in the late day. I think the coverage in terms of the rain is going to be at the greatest point for tomorrow morning. So you've got a slow morning and afternoon commute for Thursday, but better weather by the weekend. Back to you.
All right, Laura, thanks so much. And now to your nonstop news. Mayor Brandon Johnson is in Springfield this morning meeting with Governor J.B. Pritzker and other top state lawmakers about the budget.
Yeah, he spoke at a news conference just moments ago. Meanwhile, here in Chicago, a city council committee will vote on the new downtown curfew proposal. Our SL Rezai is live for us at City Hall this morning to break all of this down. And SL, I know the mayor just spoke. What did he say about the budget?
Yeah, Marissa, Jackie, he said some of the things he's asking for in this budget should not come as a surprise, that they're not unusual asks. He spoke about a number of important issues that he plans to take to lawmakers. They include asking for money for public transportation and education, along with a partnership that would be continued with the state to help reduce homelessness. We know in addition to meeting with Governor J.B. Pritzker today, Johnson plans to meet with Senate President Don Harmon and House Speaker Chris Welch. On top of education and public transportation that I mentioned, some of Johnson's priorities for the city budget also include extending the 911 surcharge, which he says will bring in more than $27 million for the city every year. In that press conference just moments ago, he says funding he's asking for shouldn't come as a surprise.
My responsibility is the city of Chicago. Our presentation is actually quite modest. You know, the overall ongoing issues for revenue that will benefit the entire state, those are part of short and long-term conversations. I've been a part of efforts statewide to generate revenue for working people.
And Mayor Johnson's trip to Springfield comes as we're seeing some movement with the much debated curfew ordinance here in the city. The City Council Public Safety Committee will vote on a new proposal by Alderman Brian Hopkins, who's actually the chair of that Public Safety Committee. The proposal would allow Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling to activate snap curfews with at least 30 minutes notice in order to curb teen takeovers. That's exactly what it says on the agenda today. Marissa, Jackie, that meeting where the committee will take on that vote starts at 10 o'clock this morning. I'm live at City Hall. SL Rezai, CBS News Chicago.
All right, SL, thank you so much. A lot to keep our eyes on today. And now to a few stories breaking from overnight, starting in the Grand Crossing neighborhood where a man is dead following a fire.
And we have an update to this now. We just learned that this fire was started accidentally. You can see in this video a firefighter climbing a ladder over an apartment building as crews responded after 2 a.m. here on Rhodes and 71st. Several engines had their hoses out here. We saw firefighters working to save that man. They wheeled him away on a gurney. Police say the 32-year-old was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
Knows everybody in the building. He's a very friendly guy. It's just, man, something like that to happen like that, that's terrible.
Another person we spoke to at the scene said they saw smoke at the apartment next door and knew something was on fire, so they got out. Thankfully, no one else was injured. Fire officials just updated us in the last few minutes and say the fire was accidentally started when someone was cooking and left it unattended. A teenage boy is recovering in the hospital after Chicago police say he was shot in the hand in the Austin neighborhood. The 15-year-old told police that it happened just before 10 o'clock last night. Someone walked up to him near Quincy and Laverne and shot at him, and then the shooter ran off. The teenager is expected to recover. Our nonstop news crew was back out in northwest suburban Des Plaines this morning, where crime scene tape is still up outside of a home. Police have not said what they're searching for here on Warrington Road, but neighbors say it might be a body. Officers did tell us this is all part of a follow-up investigation and that there is no threat to the public. CBS Skywatch previously flew over that backyard where a tent was set up with shovels and buckets. Investigators have been here since Monday. We'll bring you any updates as soon as we get them.
And in Oak Lawn, a pickup truck slams into a building here. It happened before 11:30 last night near 105th and Cicero. Just take a look at the giant hole left behind as the truck was towed away. You can see the entire front end of the truck and the windshield are smashed in. Oak Lawn police have not given any information about the driver's condition just yet or what exactly led to this crash. We'll keep you posted. In the meantime, President Donald Trump is marking 100 days in office. During a speech in Michigan last night, he played up his actions on immigration and the economy, two issues that he campaigned heavily on.
The president also downplayed concerns that his trade war could hurt our economy. Jared Hill has the reaction to that rally.
Hello, Michigan.
100 days in, President Donald Trump back in campaign mode, touting accomplishments in Michigan, which helped send him back to the White House.
In 100 days, we have delivered the most profound change in Washington in nearly 100 years.
The president played up what polls show as his strongest issue, immigration, even showing a propaganda video shot by the El Salvadorian government showing undocumented immigrants the administration has sent to a prison there.
We are delivering mass deportation, and it's happening very fast.
The president also defended his trade war, especially with China.
We're ending the greatest job theft in the history of the world.
Ahead of his trip to the car manufacturing hub, the president eased some tariffs on automakers, cutting the 25% tax on steel, aluminum, and other critical materials. Uncertainty sparked by his trade policies sent consumer confidence plummeting this month to its lowest level since the start of the COVID pandemic. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
President Trump creates what I would call strategic uncertainty in the negotiations.
In an interview with ABC News, the president downplayed concerns.
Everything's going to be just fine. It wouldn't have been if I didn't do this.
Reaction mixed in Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to hurt us a little bit now, but in the long run, it's going to be all American, buy American.
We feel like our country's being taken away by Donald Trump.
Continuing the president's promise to shrink the federal workforce, yesterday 400 scientists directed by Congress to study climate change were dismissed. Jared Hill, CBS News.
In the meantime, House Republicans are effectively stopping Democrats from launching an investigation into Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the app Signal. Now, back in March, you may remember this. He and other top officials discussed attack plans on Houthis in Yemen on the app and accidentally included a journalist from The Atlantic on that chat. Earlier this month, we learned Hegseth created a second group chat on his personal phone and reportedly shared details about their strike with 12 people, including his wife, brother, and a lawyer. Democrats on the House Armed Services Committee wanted to launch an inquiry into the group chats, but Republicans changed rules. That meant a vote on launching the probe won't happen until the end of September.
As we keep an eye on your world on this Wednesday morning, Israel says it carried out an attack against gunmen who were attacking Druze fighters in Syria. The clashes happened south of the capital of Damascus. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the IDF acted to prevent harm to the Druze, which is a minority religious group. Britain's military just launched airstrikes against Houthi targets in Yemen in a joint operation with American forces.
Yeah, the strikes targeted what they call a cluster of buildings. Now, the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense says they targeted 3 buildings where Houthis create drones that attack ships. This video here from the Houthi rebels shows what they say is the damage from those strikes. British forces say the strike happened after dark to create a minimal risk to civilians there.
A Wisconsin judge is suspended after she was accused of helping an undocumented immigrant avoid ICE agents. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested earlier this month for obstruction and concealment concealing an individual from arrest. Witnesses told investigators she escorted the immigrant through a jury door. He ran off but was later arrested. Dugan is due back in court next month. This morning, we're learning a woman from Haiti died in ICE custody at a detention center in Florida. The 44-year-old woman died on Friday night. ICE officials say she tried to get on a flight from the U.S. Virgin Islands to North Carolina back in February, but she did not have an immigrant visa. She was taken to a detention facility in Puerto Rico, then was transferred to Louisiana, and finally to a facility in Florida. Her cause of death has not been confirmed.
Well, a federal judge says Mahmoud Khalil can move forward with a lawsuit that challenges his detention. The Columbia graduate is a legal permanent resident, and he says he was illegally arrested for his part in pro-Palestinian protests on campus. Khalil is currently at an ICE detention facility in Louisiana. His legal team now working to get him released on electronic monitoring so he can be reunited with his wife and his newborn child.
And still ahead, the Red Cross honoring people for their service to our community today. So this is a live look at a celebratory breakfast happening right now. And next, why one Chicago police officer is being recognized this morning for going above the call of duty.
And Summerfest tickets half off. It's true, but only for one day. Why festival organizers are giving fans a big discount today. Next.
And tomorrow's a weather alert day as we have waves of heavy rain impacting the morning and afternoon commute. I'm tracking it in your First Alert forecast.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, today you can get discounted tickets to Summerfest. The music festival is 50 days away in Milwaukee, and organizers are offering 50% off single-day tickets. You have until midnight to buy them. This year's headliners include Def Leppard, Hozier, Megan Thee Stallion, and The Killers. The festival is happening over 3 different weekends in June and July. It's always so much fun.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it was more country focused, but those bands and musicians are not country focused.
That's
so maybe maybe it's WeFest. WeFest is maybe country focused.
I saw Backstreet Boys there a couple years ago. Really good.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good throwback. Yeah.
Well, today the American Red Cross is honoring a new class of heroes.
They'll have a special breakfast, and our very own Dana Kozlov and Erica Sargent are hosting that right now. So here's a live look at the event happening at the Hilton Chicago. The breakfast highlights 12 people who are doing what they can to serve their communities. This is the 23rd year, and our Jermont Terry spoke to one Chicago police officer who's being recognized today. He is affectionately known as Officer Will on the West Side.
When Officer Will Martinez steps outside the 15th District Police Station in Austin, he sees
it's a flourishing community, a lot of amazing people, a lot of great businesses.
And for more than a decade now, Officer Martinez has made it his mission to make sure that image is clear to others.
I am a regular police officer, but my specialty is 15th District Youth Liaison Officer.
As the youth liaison, Martinez becomes Officer Will. He connects with youngsters through various programs, including the most popular he started 6 years ago. Hip Hop Tuesdays is where education, games, and community policing all come together.
We're creating a safe space for the youth to where they're coming to the police station and they feel safe here.
Officer Will gets the teens engaged in the annual Austin Gat Talent Show and the 15th District Toy Giveaway, constantly letting youngsters see the men and women behind the badge.
The youth know all the officers. It's like a first-name basis.
He's formed lifelong bonds. Last year, he personally drove a teenager down to college to get him settled. And now the word is out. The American Red Cross prepares to honor Officer Will as the local law enforcement officer Hero of the Year.
What Will is doing here in the 15th District is affecting families.
He's a great man for sure. This isn't just an Officer Martinez award. This is an award for the whole community and for the kids.
And it's safe to say he's being modest, considering
100 officers were nominated, but you were chosen.
Yeah. I don't think about it. So when you say it that way, it makes you think, yes, that it's an amazing feat.
Well, that was Jermont Terry reporting. What a great story. Officer Will told Jermont some of his youth mentees will be at the ceremony today, happening right now.
And they've already been teasing him that if he sheds any tears, that he will never live that down, which I feel like you gotta let him just feel the emotion of it, because that is pretty special to be 1 out of 100 officers chosen. It's amazing.
Amazing.
And you'll also want to let you know that you can hear, or we want to let you know, that you can hear a lot of those stories during our special coverage on our digital streaming network on CBS News Chicago. That is happening at 10 o'clock this morning and 6:30 tonight. So a couple of opportunities to hear more hero stories.
Stay with us right through after the 9.
Keep watching.
Yeah, it's going to
keep
be
it going.
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful sunny day for that breakfast. But we're tracking changes.
Yeah, some changes. We're going to get some waves of rain picking up late day today, and then tomorrow we do shift into weather alert mode. Let's take a look at some of the timing on this, because it is going to be pretty much an all-day rain for Thursday, building after midnight tonight, and then again going into the afternoon. We do have a small rain chance late day today. I think by the time it gets here, if anything, we're just squeezing out a couple of raindrops, some light rain showers, especially out toward the far south and west. Tomorrow, periods of rain, possible thunderstorms. Friday, still have some lingering showers out there, mostly going to be drying up though as we finish up the week. Right now, oh my gosh, it's been a beautiful morning. It's been a colder morning. We made it down to the 40s. We're cool, comfortable now. 52 east wind that's coming in about 6 miles per hour. That 24-hour temperature change is still showing a huge dent. We're 20 degrees cooler from this point yesterday. Upper 40s, Waukegan, 57 LaPorte, and near 60 out toward Joliet. Now, as we expand the view, look around the region right now. We're seeing those skies really start to cloudy up after the early morning sunny start. And then this big batch of rain that's out towards St. Louis this morning, that's what we'll be watching to pull in some of that moisture late day today. Do think most of the day is dry until about this evening when we do get a little bit of wet weather. Now, we're really going to turn things up tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. If you're a light sleeper, it's going to be an early morning out there. We've got some rain that could be heavy at times, lingering through the morning rush. I do expect the worst of it before 7 o'clock, but once we get past 7 a.m., we still have those lingering impacts with the ponding out on the roadways. Still could see some showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, and some spotty showers going into Friday. That rainfall forecast, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, but there's going to be some isolated higher amounts that get to 1 inch, potentially over that 1 inch mark. 62 degrees for the high today, with clouds increasing now, some spotty late day showers tonight, rain heavy, 51 degrees for the low, and then for tomorrow we go to a high of 66 degrees. 7-day forecast, we're cooler to start the weekend through Friday, Saturday, but then we've got a delightful warming trend as highs go back to the low to mid 70s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We're dry too on Saturday. All right, Chris, let's go on over to the First Alert Traffic Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Laura. Hi, everybody. Normally about this time, I would say, hey, you know, it's we're kind of in the meat of the morning rush hour, and it's pretty busy everywhere, and we don't have any major incidents. But not today. We now have a big crash on the outbound side of the Bishop Ford, and you can see that there is a lot of red right there. So let's go in tight, and I will show you exactly what's going on. We got a semi that's crashed there, an intermodal, one of the big steel shipping containers has come off of that truck. It's across everything. So we've got big delays both directions. Gapers on the inbound side. The semi has got that box that came off of it. Don't know if the semi actually rolled over, if the box just came off, or what kind of details we have in there, much less injuries. So the outbound side stopped, not getting by, starting back at 115th. So you know what that means. You're going to need to reach for all of the workarounds that are possible. It's going to be out there for a while. Got to get a heavy hook out there, or 2 or 3 to get that back up. So 103rd over to Torrance Avenue to the east. Just to the west, take Halstead, or just stick with the Ryan I-57 combination and stay away from the outbound Bishop Ford. This is what the rest of the roads look like right now. Downtown, the spring bridge lifts are underway. They started at 9 a.m. 27 bridges are going to be raised in order from the South Branch at Ashland Avenue all the way out to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And you'll even see the State Street Bridge that's being worked on. They will pause that work and raise the bridge, and that's going to be out until mid-November. Northbound, use Dearborn. Southbound, use Clark to get across the main channel of the river. Details or detours are posted. Chris Habermill, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, good to know. know, Chris. Thanks so much. And new this morning, we're finally getting a look at what the future DuSable Park will look like. So take a look at some of these renderings. The 3.4-acre park will feature a boardwalk, a lot of green space, and a pavilion to teach visitors about its namesake, Chicago's founder. It's being built near DuSable Lakeshore Drive, just south of the Illinois Street exit. This park has been in the work for decades. The land was actually set aside in 1987 by then Mayor Harold Washington. It will cost about $10 million. Well, typically food from our grocery stores ends up in a landfill.
But a brand new program with Mariano's is changing that and keeping millions of pounds of food from piling up. It's being transported to Green Era's campus in Auburn Gresham on site. It's processed and converted into natural gas, renewable energy, and nutrient-dense compost, which is then used to grow new produce. It's the only facility of its kind in the Midwest.
It's a clean, sustainable way to fight climate change, grow opportunity, and also build a greener future right here in Chicago.
Mariano's is now in the process of expanding to 8 more stores in the Chicago area. So far, the food waste has generated enough natural gas to power more than 250 homes for a month. Wow.
So cool.
Very cool.
Still ahead, a federally funded early childhood education program is now on the chopping block.
We'll tell you about the lawsuit being filed to stop the Trump administration from eliminating Head Start. Plus, preparations are underway to pick the next pope, and there's a lot to plan, including what the next leader will wear. Meet the tailor, making sure whoever's chosen has the perfect robe.
Good morning, I'm Darius Johnson. Jump-starting your morning as you see Jackie is there inside on the desk today. We are here at Spera in Edgewater, a Sicilian street food restaurant. You can take a look right now. This is their co-owner, Daniela. She is filling a cannoli. These are some of their beautiful cannolis. They have raspberry lemon. They also have pistachio. We're going to show you all of this coming up later this hour. And guess what? She's going to show me how to fill this as well. We have a lot more coming up later here at 9 o'clock.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now, we are taking a live look at Vatican City, where cardinals from around the world are getting ready for the papal conclave.
Indeed, that's starting a week from today, and around 135 cardinals, including Blaise Supich, are eligible to vote for the next pope. They were on hand today for a meeting. The previous 2 conclaves back in 2005 and in 2013 lasted just 2 days. But one Swedish cardinal says the upcoming vote may take longer because many of the cardinals appointed by Pope Francis have never met each other. The cardinals aren't the only ones getting ready for that right now. The tailor to the last 3 popes is already preparing the white robes that could be worn by the next pontiff. Because the next leader of the Catholic Church is still a mystery, the tailor is preparing small, medium, and large versions of those robes. And he joked that it's okay if the robe is too short because the Pope's feet won't be visible on the balcony for his first moment in front of the public.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know, it's
Love
exciting.
To see that.
Yeah.
Coming up next at 9:30, the Trump administration targeting education.
A Chicago public school program now under federal investigation accused of discrimination. It comes as a lawsuit is filed to protect Head Start. And a coalition of groups working to uplift Asian American communities in Springfield today for what's being called a day of action.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Jackie Kostek.
And I'm Marissa Perlman. It is 9:30 on the dot. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's get things started with a live look outside on your Wednesday. Beautiful sun is shining. We're in for a calm and mostly dry day today, but there is some potential for rain in our forecast. And for that, we send it over to our Laura Bannon, who's tracking what's in store as we head into tonight. Hey, Laura.
Hey there. Yeah, our next weather maker is on the approach, and that's going to give us some light rain showers late day today, good soaking of rain tomorrow, a weather alert day, and then some lingering showers heading into Friday. But the weekend right now looks dry. Here comes those light rain showers during the afternoon into your evening hours. The heaviest rain will start to pick up by daybreak tomorrow, and that gives us at least some rainy conditions for the morning and again for the afternoon rush. By Friday, we have a small rain chance, but again, a couple of light rain showers still lingering out there. Temperature-wise, 62, 66 on Thursday, cooler on Friday, and that cool weather will continue into the start of the weekend. More on that weekend forecast when I return.
Thank you so much, Laura. Well, developing this morning, Illinois State Police are still waiting for toxicology test results after they say a woman drove through an after-school camp in downstate Chatham, killing 4 girls.
Governor J.B. Pritzker has ordered flags to be lowered to half staff in their honor from sunrise this morning until sunset on Saturday. This is the first memorial held for the students who died on Monday. The crowd standing close together and consoling each other. 3 girls from Chatham, 8 and under, were killed, as well as an 18-year-old woman from Springfield. 6 others were hurt. At the center of the memorial, 4 crosses with hearts with the names of the students killed. Those mourning say in this dark hour, they are looking for the light.
That light is more than a flicker. It's the meals brought to the hurting families. It's the prayers whispered and shouted. And it's the neighbors showing up without needing to be asked.
Be with your friends, be with your family, be with our community.
Illinois State Police say the driver, 44-year-old Marianne Akers, who worked for ISP and a local high school, veered off the road through a field and then through the building. She has not been charged at this point. State police say this does not appear to be a targeted attack. Chatham students are organizing another memorial set for tonight. Right now, the cause of this massive South Suburban Dalton fire is under investigation. Unbelievable video. You can see flames just shooting out of the windows and taking down the roof of a U-Haul facility that's on 142nd Street. We're told the fire broke out yesterday morning, and amazingly, no one was hurt. Firefighters were able to contain it, extinguishing those flames.
Well, developing this morning, a federal investigation into Chicago public schools over its Black Student Success Plan. Now, a group wants the program looked into, claiming it discriminates against non-Black students. Now, the group Parents Defending Education says the plan violates Title VI of the Civil Rights Act by focusing on, quote, remedial measures only for Black students, also saying students of all races struggle academically. The U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights launched this investigation. Now, the Chicago Teachers Union president is responding to this with a statement saying the Black Student Success Plan was developed to address the man-made educational achievement gap. This gap was created by those intent on shutting the doors of opportunity for families like mine, particularly in specific zip codes. So far, CPS has yet to comment. And a lawsuit is challenging efforts to dismantle the federally run Head Start program. Now, this program provides early education services like pre-kindergarten for low-income families. The Trump administration has proposed eliminating funding and early budget plans for 2026. Parents and Head Start providers filed a lawsuit with the help of the ACLU. It argues any executive action to reduce or eliminate Head Start is illegal. That's because the program is funded by Congress. Congress would need to approve any budget plans.
The search continues for the next leader of the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, also known as COPA. Today, you'll have a chance to weigh in. COPA is the agency responsible for investigating any incidents involving CPD officers and allegations of police misconduct. There will be a virtual listening session at 6:30 tonight. And that's when you can tell the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability the qualities and priorities the next COPA administrator should have. And today, the TSA is speaking about needing a real ID if you plan to travel soon and don't have a passport. Starting in May 7th or on May 7th, real IDs will be required for airline passengers 18 and older. There is a Real ID Supercenter here in the Loop to help people get their license updated, and you can find the full list of documents you need to get one on the Secretary of State's website. Well, a coalition of organizations working to uplift and protect Asian American communities are headed to Springfield today for a day of advocacy.
Yeah, they're lobbying lawmakers and holding a rally at the state capitol as part of what they're calling Asian American Action Day. So now we're going to bring in our Grace Pye. She's the executive director of Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago, one of the organizations that's participating in this day. Grace, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So this is the 12th year for this collective trip to Springfield. What is the goal or the mission for this year specifically?
Asian American Action Day is the largest mobilization of Asian Americans at the state capitol. And we come together today. This year, we're bringing together 500 people to advocate for the needs and priorities, things that are impacting Asian Americans in their day-to-day lives. So we want to advance legislation that promotes education equity. We want to promote funding for immigrant social services and protections for undocumented immigrants.
Can you talk a little bit more specifically about what you guys are pushing for and what attention you're trying to bring to these lawmakers?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Asian American community has been often overlooked. We have not had a lot of representation in the state capitol until very recently. We're excited to now have 9 members of the Illinois Asian American Caucus, but really it's incumbent on our community members to bring their needs to the forefront. 1 in 8 Asian Americans is undocumented. It's really critical that we are providing state services that are targeted for immigrant communities, that address language barriers, for example, or that help people access the services that they need when in times of need. You know, we're also advocating for inclusive public schools to make sure that school calendars reflect cultural and religious holidays that Asian American students might be observing. So there's a myriad of issues that we tackle, some related to the budget and others related to how we can make our state truly welcoming for all.
Yeah, it's so good to kind of talk about those kind of, you know, movements, because people don't really realize some of those things that you were mentioning, Grace. Yeah. And I know that you've traveled to Springfield before for this day of action. I guess looking back, do you find that the trip is successful in kind of getting some of the policies that you've mentioned, some of the changes really pushed forward?
Absolutely. You know, last year we passed the Language Equity and Access Act, which was landmark legislation that requires all state agencies to create language access plans to make sure that they're meeting the needs, that they're able to meet the needs of all Illinoisans across the state. You know, that was a legislation that was really the hallmark of last year's Asian American Action Day. This year, of course, we're focused on responding to some of the federal landscape changes, right? Some of the attacks on immigrants that we have seen coming from the federal government. There is a lot that the state can do and a lot that our state has done to advance protections for immigrants. So we're excited to keep that momentum up.
And where are the folks coming from? You mentioned that more than 500 people are traveling with you today, that's a pretty big group.
It is really from all across Chicagoland, mostly Chicago area and suburbs. We've got buses coming from Elgin, from Chinatown in Chicago, from West Ridge and Uptown. So it's really a diverse group. You know, Asian Americans are not a monolith. We hail from more than 20 different countries, speak myriad, dozens of languages. So it really is a great and diverse group.
Grace Pye, the Executive Director of Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago. Grace, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, the Senate could vote as early as today on a resolution that would block some of President Donald Trump's tariffs.
And its co-sponsor, Senator Rand Paul, predicts that it will pass. Now, Paul says enough of his fellow Republicans will vote with Democrats for the resolution. The Constitution gives Congress the power to impose duties, but a law lets the president do so under, quote, unusual and extraordinary threats. Trump's executive order from April 2nd declares trade deficits rise to that level, but the Senate resolution would terminate that declaration.
2 objections. One is the emergency, and then there's the economic objection to tariffs.
Should the president have 100% of the authority in this particular area? And I think some of us think Congress probably ought to have some impact on that.
Well, earlier this month, the Senate passed a similar resolution blocking tariffs on Canadian goods. It was effectively dead on arrival in the House.
Well, we are getting a taste of Italy in today's Jumpstart. So we're back live with the owners of Sfera Sicilian Street Food as they serve popular Italian dishes with a Midwest twist.
And the United Lounge at O'Hare getting a major makeover. The new upgrades for travelers with lounge access. Laura?
And we're looking at a weather alert for tomorrow with waves of rain building throughout the morning commute. We'll time it out hour by hour coming up.
Welcome back. For today's Jumpstart, we're at a local restaurant featuring the flavors of Sicily with a Midwest twist.
It looks yummy. We've spent the morning at Sfera Sicilian Street Food giving you a taste of all the menu goodness, and now our Darius Johnson, he joins us live for a little dessert. Can't say no to that, Darius.
No, ladies, I cannot say no to dessert, although I've been eating my way throughout Sfera all morning long. Joining me once again is Daniela Vitale. She is the co-owner of this beautiful place, Sicilian Street Food. Let's go ahead and get into these cannolis. She taught me a little bit how to make them, so we're going to go ahead and start filling them.
Yes.
Daniela, as I'm filling these, if you could just talk to us about the ingredients and what it takes to create these.
Yes, so we have a variety of Sicilian treats to choose from. Of course, you can't be a Sicilian restaurant without a cannoli.
Thank you.
We do your traditional pistachio. We use a local ricotta cheese. Lightly sweetened. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
lightly sweetened with some powdered sugar. This is our lemon raspberry, some lemon zest, raspberry jam.
This is the pistachio.
Pistachio. So then what we're gonna do is you're gonna dip that into the pistachio.
Okay, let me try not to make a mess. Go ahead.
It's okay. You can make a mess.
Dippy dippy.
Gorgeous, beautiful.
Dippy dippy. Oh, look at that.
And then just topped with a little powdered sugar.
Okay. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, I'm taking that home.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so these are just some of the desserts that you have. I know earlier this morning we had a chance to try this. It's also amazing. Talk to me about that really fast.
Gluten-free almond cake, pan de rancho, made with 2 whole oranges.
And then over here we have these 2 cupcakes.
We also have a casata cupcake. It's our version of a very traditional cake made with a lightly sweetened ricotta cheese. We do Door County cherry and pistachio, and this one is a chocolate and blood orange.
All right.
Always with ricotta cheese. Delightful Sicilian.
Daniela, we're going to take the gloves off so we can talk a little bit more about this place in our last minute. All right, so you all are located here at Ardmore and Broadway.
Broadway and Ardmore, just 2 blocks away from Hollywood Beach, Osterman Beach.
So during the summertime, anybody who's up here can be able to come and grab a little something from right here and be able to walk right over to the beach.
Grab some arancini, grab some cannoli, and head on over to the beach.
Now, you talked about that arancini earlier, and we showed you all that throughout the morning as we were making them, and as we were finishing them, Tom is going to bring that in. Thank you so much, Tom. Here's that arancini. You all freeze these, and you all can ship them. We have 30 seconds left.
Indeed, yes. We ship nationwide. We have a wonderful catering program as well. But we'd love for you guys to join us sometime this summer. We have an amazing patio, again, a couple of blocks away from the beach.
Okay.
Open every day.
All right, they just told us to wrap, but I believe we've been dancing all morning, and we said that we were going to send things off a certain way. So, ladies, that is it for us here at Spera. Are we here? We are live in Edgewater. Back to you all. Please come see your friends here.
Oh, we will.
Those are
Is that an
moves.
Italian dance?
Maybe.
I was expecting.
Are you going to kill me?
Oh no, nobody's.
I love it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're really bringing it this morning. I love those moves. That's the those are the vibes we need. I'm really excited too for the patio because
me too.
We're in that season. You know, I saw the tail end of your forecast is looking into the 70s.
Yeah, a lot of patio days.
Yeah, and I think it's right off of the lakefront, basically. Like I think it steps from it because they were talking about the beach earlier too.
Oh yeah,
So that's perfect.
Yeah, go
Hop
get your
off
little
the
sweet
lakefront
treats and
hop back on.
everything. Yeah, it looks really, really nice.
Yum.
So yeah, once we get past the weekend, next week's really shaping up to be very nice. But we do have an unsettled forecast through the end of the week. Here's that live look outside. Been watching the clouds overspread all morning. It was a beautiful start, and it's still very nice out there. Late this afternoon, some light rain showers will be possible. Tomorrow we turn it up. We get some rain and thunderstorms throughout the day, and then by Friday we still have some lingering showers in the forecast. Now we started the day in the 40s, couple of areas in the 30s. We've made way to the 50s. It's now 60 out toward Joliet and 52 degrees O'Hare. Winds aren't all that bad, so we are getting a break at least for today in that department. But things are going to be changing, as we can see on the radar here this morning. There's those clouds increasing. That shield of rain is off toward the far south and west. That's what's going to be moving through here today. But we're going to be working with a dry atmosphere, so that's not really going to produce a whole lot of rain, but there will be some wet spots by the late day, mostly after 4 o'clock. Heavy rain, possible thunderstorms throughout your Thursday, one round in the morning and then another round for the afternoon into the evening. It's that afternoon, evening round that we could talk about some thunderstorms. Not expecting severe weather with any of this, but the biggest issue is not only the timing, but the amount of rain that we'll see throughout the day. Rainfall amounts 1/4 to 1/2 inch, but there's going to be some areas that easily get to that 1 inch mark and possibly exceed that throughout the day. 62 degrees here this afternoon with that light rain chance late day today, heavy rain into tonight. 51 degrees for the overnight low, and then for tomorrow we're going for 66 degrees. Rounds of rain and those thunderstorms for the afternoon. 7-day forecast. Once we get past Thursday's weather alert, things will cool down to the upper 50s for Friday, Saturday. Sunny skies throughout the entire weekend. Sunday, 70 degrees, and then warmer weather for Monday, Tuesday, which Marissa was talking about. This is prime patio season weather for next week. All right, traffic. If you're sitting in traffic, not bad. You got a nice pretty view at least, Chris.
Yeah, at least you have a decent day to deal with, so just roll down the window and smell the exhaust, especially on the Bishop Ford. Let's try and avoid that. We've got a big crash. Told you about it last time, and you can see a lot of angry red lines here on the Bishop Ford, inbound and outbound. Inbound, it's all gaping from right around Sibley. Outbound's a parking lot from before 111. Semi crashed into at least one car. The semi then hit the railroad overpass, a freight train overpass there, past 130th. 2 left lanes are now blocked. IDOT managed to move the steel shipping container that fell off of that semi after the crash kind of out of the way, first getting part of the right shoulder and now part of the right lane open there. It's going to be a while to pick all this up. So on the outbound side of the Bishop Ford, you could dive off 103rd, go over to Torrance and go down that way. Avoid it altogether using Halstead. If you normally travel outbound on the Bishop Ford, take I-57 instead. You're really going to be glad you did. It's going to be a while until they get that shipping container back upright and then bring in another truck to affix that to the trailer and get it totally out of there. Core expressways elsewhere, still feeling the after effects in the morning rush hour, which is still kind of underway. Downtown spring bridge lifts as our Mariner friends go out to the open waters of Lake Michigan after spending the winter time ashore. So from Ashland Avenue to the main channel, DuSable Lakeshore Drive, those bridges will be cycling through. Even the State Street Bridge, which is closed for repairs, you'll see that go up and down too. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other and don't take the Bishop Ford. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
Good advice, Chris. Thanks so much.
Always.
United just unveiled a new and improved lounge for customers at O'Hare. The United Polaris Lounge is 50% bigger and now has a second bar and a larger dining space. The company says the second bar is a speakeasy-style bar with premium drinks and cocktails. International customers on United Polaris, along with Premium Star Alliance members, can get access to that lounge. It is in Terminal 1.
Well, coming up, a look at the stories we're following today, including Mayor Brandon Johnson's visit to Springfield. That's next. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories that we're keeping our eyes on today.
We begin with a deadly apartment fire in the Grand Crossing neighborhood. It broke out just after 2 o'clock this morning near 71st and Rhodes. Officials say it was started accidentally when someone was cooking and left the kitchen unattended. A 32-year-old man was pronounced dead at the hospital. No other injuries were reported.
And a teenage boy is recovering after he was shot in the hand in the Austin neighborhood. The 15-year-old told Chicago police someone walked up to him near Quincy and Laverne and shot at him just before 10 last night. Then the shooter ran off. The teen is expected to be okay.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is in Springfield this morning, meeting with Governor J.B. Pritzker and other top state lawmakers to talk budget. One of Johnson's priorities for the city's budget includes extending the 911 surcharge, which he says will bring in more than $27 million for the city every year.
This is not about who gets to stand in what place in line. This is about what we have to do as an entire state to ensure that all of Illinois is supported. My responsibility is the city of Chicago. Our presentation is actually quite modest.
Johnson says he also plans on discussing other issues with lawmakers like homelessness, public transportation, and education.
All right, one final look at your 7-day forecast. Things are really looking nice. So we've got some rain, some thunderstorms. Tomorrow is going to be the wettest day of the next 7-day stretch here. We do cool down into the upper 50s, near 60 for highs for Friday, Saturday. Even your overnight lows aren't too terribly cold. Back to no freezing overnight lows. Things do get chilly from Friday into Saturday, but then we warm up quickly for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Got Star Wars Day on Sunday on your 7-day forecast. It was a really important ad.
Nice.
Got a beautiful day. Yeah, it's huge.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th. Yep. I love it. Wonderful.
And then Cinco de Mayo.
Exactly. I was going to say a big weekend ahead.
Yes,
Sunday,
it is. Lots of stuff to celebrate. Get some nice weather too.
Absolutely. Now I'm thinking of the Justin Timberlake thing too. It's gonna be May.
You know, I almost made it through an entire shift without hearing
I'm
that.
sorry, Laura.
It had to be you.
We'll be seeing all the memes coming.
Yeah.
The memes will be out in
I
full
will make
force.
a public apology for
That's
that.
all right.
Sorry.
Someone had to.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the News at 9. Don't forget that Red Cross Special continues right here on the stream next.
Have a great day and stay safe.